Hey everybody, welcome to Baking in the Bullpen. Today we are going to make crispy pan pizza. So the first thing that we gotta do is get all of our ingredients. We've got our all-purpose flour, olive oil, lukewarm water, yeast, and salt. When you first start baking, you need to actually weigh out the flour. So the recipe calls for 2 cups, but we're gonna weigh it out, makes for a more even cook. And we want 2 cups equals 8.5 ounces. I'll just grab that up. You want to be fairly accurate too, so we want right at 8.5 ounces. Half a teaspoon of yeast, that'll make it rise pretty nicely. 3/4 teaspoon of salt. We'll do our olive oil and then our water last. And then we just gotta stir it up into sort of a shaggy mixture. It doesn't need to be super smooth just yet. Alright, so I don't have a bread machine or bread maker machine, and I don't really care about that, honestly. I like doing it myself. So we're gonna stir this up for about a good minute. Again, just to get a nice shaggy mixture. Again, it doesn't have to be really smooth because we're gonna need this once it kind of sits for a couple minutes as well. Now that it's sat for 5 minutes, we are going to do what's called folding. This is a different technique than kneading it. What you want to do is wet your hand because the dough is going to be sticky, so it helps to, not just take up the dough with your hand. So you're just going to lightly wet the hand. And so what this recipe wants you to do is basically just take the dough and you want to stretch it. So let it stick to that bottom part of the pan and fold it over. And then you're going to turn the pan 90 degrees. Grab it from that side, pull, and fold 2 more times. Pull and fold, and the last time. Really get that good stretch and fold it. All right, so now we're gonna cover it once more. It's gonna rest for 5 minutes, then we're gonna do that again. We actually have to do that 3 more times. After that 3rd time, it rests undisturbed for 40 minutes, and then we'll check out if it's risen anymore. So we have folded it 4 times, letting it rest 5 minutes between each folding session. We've also already waited 40 minutes. So now what we get to do is the hard part, which is wait. It is going to be refrigerated for anywhere from 12 to 72 hours, and it will actually rise in the fridge. I'm impatient, so we're definitely doing this tomorrow. But what we have to do is we're going to cover it back up again, and then we're going to go store it in the fridge. All right, and now we wait. All right, it has been about 24 hours now, so we're gonna take the dough out of the refrigerator and see how much it rose. All right, take a look at that. Definitely expanded a lot within that 24 hours, which is exciting. So now we're gonna transfer it to our pan. All right, so what we're going to do is transfer it to the pan, and we've gotta make sure that it's coated with olive oil. And we've already olive oiled the pan and made sure it's on all of the edges. It's the consistency we're looking for. So we're just gonna spread it in the pan real quick, kind of spread it around to get that olive oil on all sides, both sides here. All right, so once it's well coated with that olive oil, we're just gonna start dimpling it so that it, with our fingertips, so that it reaches the edge of the pan. All right, so it has risen for about 2 hours. It has been nice and really fluffy now. It almost takes up the entirety of the pan, which is great. So what we're going to do is now season our pizza. I love these kind of seasonings, so I want to put those seasonings on the crust itself. We're going to put some cheese, sauce, and peppers, and then we'll put those seasonings on again. So I'm a big fan of garlic pepper. So we're just going to sprinkle that on, again, just lightly. We don't want to take away too much of the taste of the actual dough. So this is a little bit of thyme, a little bit of oregano, and a little bit of basil. All right, the first thing we're gonna put on here after the spices is going to be some mozzarella. Just sprinkle it all over, making sure that it gets a really nice layer on there. It's gonna caramelize really nicely when you put it just right there on the crust before you put the sauce on. Now we're gonna dollop some of the sauce on there. We aren't actually going to spread the sauce on there. Just again, it gives it actually a better layer than you would think it would. All right, we're gonna get a lot of sauce on there because we actually really enjoy the sauce part of the pizza. I also love a little bit of color on my pizza, so we're gonna add some cheddar cheese as well. So we've got some cheddar going on right over here. Make sure that's sprinkled in really nicely. I also like the flavor of cheddar that it adds to a pizza. We're gonna get our homemade roasted peppers. Kudos to Justin Fabiano. Because who needs jarred roasted red peppers when you know how to make them yourself? We preheated the oven to 450 30 minutes ago. We're gonna put the oven in the bottom layer. We're gonna grab our pizza, put it on that bottom shelf, and we're gonna set a timer for 18 minutes and see what it looks like. It is time to pull the pizza out of the oven. We let it go for a little bit longer because it wasn't browning quite right, but I think it is ready to go. All right, so we've got our piece of pizza. Shout out to kingarthurflour.com for this amazing recipe. Fairly easy to follow, if not a little bit labor intensive. So we'll see how this kind of tastes out. That's good. That is really good. All right, this is baking in the Bullpen. We'll see you next time.